Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. So you've got a killer business idea, maybe even a solid plan mapped out, but every time you think about turning it into reality, you hit the same wall. Money. I used to think a good pitch and some hustle were enough to get funding, but then I actually tried raising funds for my own project, and I ran into dead ends, weird requirements, just a whole lot of frustration. That's when I realized just how complicated the whole funding process can feel and why understanding your options properly is so important. So today, I'm going to walk you through how startup funding actually works, why it's unfortunately not as easy as it looks, and how you can approach it without getting overwhelmed. I'll also share a tool that caught my attention as far as giving you a leg up and give you my take on how it works. If you've ever tried getting a startup off the ground, you know that coming up with the idea, that's the easy part. It's the funding that makes or breaks most dreams. Even the most brilliant business plans can't do much without financial fuel to get them moving. You need money for inventory, for marketing, tools, maybe even a small team. And unless you're sitting on a pile of savings or have family who believes in your pitch, you're gonna need outside funding. Here's where things get tricky. When I first started looking into startup funding, I ran into just all these complexities. Banks want so much paperwork, where they want perfect credit, and there's super long wait times. If you go online lenders, some of them feel shady, others just bombarded me with terms I couldn't trust. It was overwhelming and discouraging. I remember I sat down with my dad. We were at the kitchen table laying out all these options, and I felt like I was stuck between bad and worse. That's when I knew I had to dig deeper. I started doing serious research, looking for something that was legit, fast, and makes sense for someone trying to build something real. That's how I came across Fora Financial. I hadn't heard much about them before, but the more I looked into it, the more it seemed worth checking out. So Fora's been around since 2008. It was started by a couple of guys who had firsthand experience with the headaches small business owners face when trying to get funding. Their whole idea was create a more flexible and approachable way for entrepreneurs to access capital without all the red tape and endless waiting. Fora Financial is a funding company that offers working capital to small businesses and startups. It's not a traditional bank, and that's kind of the point. They focus on speed, accessibility, and giving you room to breathe when you're growing your business.
Whether you need funds for hiring, restocking, marketing, or just keeping your cash flow steady, they try to step in quickly and help out.
It's not a magic solution, sure, but it's definitely a more human-centered approach to business financing compared to what you might get from banks. The onboarding process with Fora Financial is pretty simple. I signed up just to test how things work. It didn't take more than a few minutes. You fill out a short online form, share some basic business info like how long you've been operating and what your monthly revenue looks like, and that's pretty much it to get started. There's no mountains of paperwork or endless back and forth. Once that's done, a funding advisor reaches out to you to walk you through the options. They're not pushy, much appreciated. After a quick review of your application, they'll show you offers tailored to your business needs. So here's how the funding part works. If approved, you get a lump sum and repay it through daily or weekly payments, depending on your plan. And it's fast. Funding can land in your account within 72 hours. Let's talk about what payment options they offer and how much they charge, because when you're getting off the ground, every dollar and every day counts. Fora Financial gives you several funding options. They don't always spell out exact costs up front, but the basic idea is to give you fast, flexible access to capital without drowning in paperwork. The most popular option is their revenue advance. You can get up to $1.5 million. And the repayment isn't a fixed number. It's a percentage of your daily or weekly sales. So let's say your income dips one week, your payment dips too. Plus, approvals can happen in just a few hours, with funds landing the next day. Then there's a line of credit. It gives you anywhere from $5,000 to $100,000. You only draw what you need and repay it either weekly or monthly, with terms that go up to 24 months. It works well for handling like unexpected costs or keeping things moving when you're waiting on a client to finally pay you. They offer business term loans with predictable payments and competitive interest rates compared to other short-term options, especially for longer terms. There's equipment financing too. It's useful if you're investing in tools or tech to get your startup running. You don't need extra collateral, but the rates can be higher depending on the gear. As far as pricing goes, Fora uses something called a factor rate. It's usually between 1.1 and about 1.5. That means if you borrow $10,000 with a 1.2 rate, you'll pay $12,000 in total. Like, it's not the cheapest money you'll find, but it's clear, and you're not going to get blindsided by hidden fees or sudden penalties. If speed and flexibility matter more to you right now than long application processes and strict bank rules, Fora can be worth giving a look. Now, if you're interested in giving Fora Financial a try, check out the link down in the description. For most products we talked about, we've got special deals that you wouldn't be able to get if you went straight to their website. Fora Financial moves fast. I mean, really fast. Like I said, we're talking approvals and funding in a matter of days, not weeks. When your startup needs a boost like now, time ain't on your side, that's huge. The cost of borrowing here can run a bit higher than what you'd get from a standard bank. It's not outrageous, but it's something to keep in mind, especially if you're counting every dollar. But then again, you're not dealing with bank level red tape. There's no mountain of paperwork or endless waiting. Plus, they don't fixate on perfect credit scores. Makes things way more accessible for newer founders. So yeah, it's a give and take. But if you value speed and flexibility and actually being treated like a real human being, it's a trade-off that can make sense. Look, end of the day, startup funding is rarely simple, and no single option fits everyone. But if you're looking for something that's fast, flexible, and doesn't make you feel like you're jumping through hoops, Fora Financial is definitely worth checking out. Look, it's not the cheapest route, sure, but it can be the most practical when you need capital without waiting for forever. For me, it came through when the more standard paths just didn't work out. So go with Fora if you need funding quickly, if you have decent monthly revenue, and you value flexibility over rock bottom rates. Skip it if you've got the time to go through a traditional bank process, or if those factor rates don't work in with your profit margins. I've included my link for Fora Financial down in the description below. Using this link gives you special discounts and helps support the channel at the same time. So tell me, what has your experience been with startup funding? Any horror stories or success stories you want to share? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.